All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Another episode of the Always Chillin' Podcast. Skinny D and the Sandman here in the barbershop once again. Good to see you. Thanks for watching, by the way. Today, I'm just going to get into it. I've been thinking about this. My wife was listening to a podcast earlier where they talked about something kind of like this. It's this adjacent, but they weren't talking about this exactly, but I'm just going to throw this at you. I want to go through the types of aliens that people think there are.
Okay.
And I just want to lay it out there, and we'll just.
I welcome this conversation.
We'll
I had a
we'll
conversation with my
about
7-year-old niece about aliens.
Really?
And different ones just
Okay.
the other day on the way to school.
Here we go. So the first one is the Greys. You know
Okay.
the
the
them.
common one.
Yeah. There's like they all have their own Wikipedia page. It's like each one. So
Are you familiar with Dr. Stephen Greer?
No.
Well, he
No.
he basically called Neil deGrasse Tyson a fraud. Said he's paid for by the people. Yeah. I get really heavy with this shit, bro.
Ooh.
Well, he basically said there's 79 different species of aliens. He actually has pictures
70.
in footage of meetings in the middle of the desert with these beings.
Just like Men in Black.
Yeah,
Exactly like Men in Black.
yeah, exactly.
Speaking
So
of
he said there's only over 79. Some of them look human, some of them are huge, some of them are small, some of them are reptilian looking like.
Sure. Yeah.
Some
I
of
think-
them could be
yeah.
standing right next to us, and we never know it.
Yeah. Well, this list has like 6 or 7.
6, really? That's
Yeah.
interesting. He said 79.
Yeah. Well, he probably this is just Wikipedia, man. I don't know. I'm gonna turn this down. But yeah, speaking of Will Smith,
They got
Men in
illustrations
Black,
of all
Men in
of them.
Black's real shit. Yeah. I won't go through the entire Wikipedia page. There's like seriously, like there's like a novel about just the gray ones.
The most common, yeah.
So the gray ones, they're and if you're listening and you have any kind of
Anything.
like if you've seen a UFO, if you've been abducted or whatever, like if you've been abducted, we'll have you on the show probably.
Holla at us.
We'll probably put you on the mic. You
More
can
than-
be on the
more
show.
than- more
I'll
than-
figure out how to have you on digitally.
Make sure
for
you
that.
ain't radioactive or
If
some
you-
shit.
If you've been abducted or
What
something,
they do to you?
I would love to talk to you. We believe you. Now, the podcast my wife was listening. It was Hey Babe. It's Chris DiStefano, and dude, I don't remember Sal Vulcano. You know, Impractical Jokers. Yeah, he's one of the Impractical Jokers.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Hey Babe, their podcast. They were talking about like aliens and stuff, but they said like it's almost weirder now if you don't think aliens are real. Like not that long ago, if you were like aliens are real, people you're like you're crazy.
Yeah.
But now if you're like I don't think aliens are real, people are like, what are you, stupid?
Well, I think it's drones, Ring doorbells,
Sure.
GoPros.
Yeah.
And you might be in the park flying a fucking kite with a GoPro, and especially if you had the wide, like you're catching shit.
Well, and the government's out here straight up, kind of like, yeah, maybe, like they
Yeah.
probably
We won't say yeah. We
they
won't
probably
say no.
exist. Like,
Yeah.
like if that thing they're saying probably. But anyway, so they're gray skinned, usually about 1 meter tall,
Okay. Feet English. What's 1 meter?
3.3 feet.
Okay.
They're hairless, large black heads, black almond shaped eyes, nostrils without a nose, slits for mouths, no ears, 3 to 4 fingers, including their thumb. They've been the predominant extraterrestrial beings of alleged alien contact since the 1960s. So they're the champs right now of this shit. And these are the ones that
So they're the
supposedly
most
were like
cited.
yeah,
Is that what
I
they're
think
saying?
that's what
They're
they're
the
saying.
most cited.
They're the ones that are like supposedly like Roswell crash and stuff. That one was one of these things, supposedly. Ooh, there's the Barney and Betty Hill abduction. Have you heard about this?
Mm-mm.
The Barney and Betty Hill abduction?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I've heard about it. I think my wife might have been watching somebody that was talking about it a little while ago.
Barney and Betty Hill abduction. Where were they? Because I think it's Texas that has the most.
No, let's just read it. So, the conception remained each one. Okay, so Barney and Betty Hill claimed that in 1961, humanoid alien beings with grayish skin had abducted them and taken them to a flying saucer. Oh, and then they looked into it, and they think that these people were lying or whatever. Obviously, everybody thinks they're lying. Everybody thinks everybody's lying when they say they got abducted or whatever.
Yeah.
Getting abducted is scary. I feel like the here, I'm gonna go to the actual Wikipedia article for that. Okay. So here we go. So we I'm gonna set the scene now. Wikipedia article. It's 10:30 p.m. September 19th is 1961.
Okay.
The Hills, Barney and Betty, were driving back to Portsmouth from a vacation in Niagara Falls. They're in New Hampshire. Betty claimed to have observed a bright point of light in the sky that moved from below the moon and the planet Jupiter upward to the west of the moon. Betty knew what Jupiter was?
Like,
Whatever.
is Jupiter visible?
Whatever.
Can we see that shit?
Yeah, you
Are
can
we
see it.
supposed to-
It just looks like a star, though.
Okay.
Like planets just look like
you
stars.
wouldn't be like, yo, that's Jupiter. Though.
I mean, you could if you knew.
If
I
you
guess.
knew.
I guess Betty was an astronomer or something.
Okay.
Like I don't. I mean, I guess I have no reason to doubt she was an astronomer. I guess, but yeah, the planets just look like stars. They're just like different colors. Like Jupiter's like kind of yellow looking.
It's Betty's story.
Stuff like that. Anyway, so she saw something moving around weird in the sky. Whatever. Barney was driving. Betty thought it was a shooting star, but it moved a lot. It was like moving around and moving upwards and stuff. So she was
Right.
like, maybe it's not. She asked Barney to stop the car so that they could take a look. That's where you fucked up.
Don't
You
stop.
don't stop the car. Don't stop the car.
Don't stop. Never stop.
Yeah, like the minding your own business. This is like totally off track, but in 29 Palms, there's this story people always told. I don't know if this ever actually happened, but there's this story that people told of like people, like these desert people, you know, like hills have eyes type shit. That
Okay.
they would they told us when we got there, like if you see like something that looks like a car accident on the side of the road, or if you see like people laying in the road, just keep going, don't stop. Like they told us that when we got there, so like it had to have like something happened.
Something happened to where they telling y'all don't fucking stop.
So supposedly
that was a true story.
Supposedly some shit that went down was like there was like a car on the side of the road and there was two people laying in the street and they looked like dead bodies, and like somebody, I think it was a Marine, I guess, they stopped to see what the fuck was going on, you know, and like a bunch of people jumped out of the bushes and fucking like fucked him up. Took all his shit. I don't know if they like murdered him or
Okay, so he survived.
because at this point it's like basically like a folk tale, like a legend, you know.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know how many retellings it's been or whatever.
Right.
And then
That's what I
there's
want to say. How many times?
and then
has it
other
been
people,
shined up?
and then there's another story that people tell of like somebody that they saw that and they didn't stop, and then when they kept driving, they looked in their rearview mirror and they saw a bunch of people get out of the fucking bushes too. But I don't know. All I know is they legit told us about this happening, and they were like, "Be careful, don't fall for some weird shit like that." Because there's some weird. It's like out in the middle of nowhere, dude. Just in the middle, in the middle of the
because it's
desert.
out in the middle of nowhere. It's the prime fucking place to do this shit.
Yeah.
Whether it be the first story you told, or the second one, either, or like people say about conspiracy theories and shit, like the shit has legs.
Yeah.
It has legs.
Yeah, I mean, they're telling us about it for a reason, dude.
You know what I mean? It has legs.
It's not like somebody just one day got so scared of it they made up a story.
Nah, this happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, Betty and Barney got out of the car. They were at a scenic picnic area, if we care about that, in New Hampshire. Betty had binoculars, and she observed an odd-shaped craft flashing multicolored lights travel across the face of the moon. That's pretty weird in the 60s,
Do we
man.
travel with binoculars?
Well, let's...
What's this? What trip are Betty?
Okay, here's some background. Barney was employed by the United States Postal Service, and Betty was a social worker.
Okay. Why do we need binoculars?
Oh, they were interracial.
Oh.
Barney's a black guy.
Oh
Betty's
shit.
white.
Okay, go ahead.
There's
Let me shut up. Damn,
there's pictures.
I really believe him now.
Yeah.
Shit. In the 60s in New Hampshire?
They're the grandparents of a current UFC fighter, Angela Hill,
Goddamn.
by the way.
Okay.
I don't know. In the 60s, did people just carry binoculars around more? I don't know. Maybe they like bird watching or something.
Okay,
It-
you know,
like,
we're
it
in New
doesn't say-
Hampshire. Are
like,
we,
there's a reason.
Like, don't people go up there to see the
There's a
foliage
reason.
or some
I
shit?
mean, yeah, and now that I think about it, I feel like when I was a kid, we did have binoculars.
I guess we did.
Like we had a pair of
little,
binoculars. Yeah,
like
a
tiny
little.
pair.
Yeah.
What did
You,
my dad?
you know exactly what I'm talking about. The little pair
Yeah,
that
the
like
little
just kind of
small
rolls
one.
up
Had
a
the
little bit.
the little bag.
Yeah, why did we have
Why
those?
did my dad have those?
People just had binoculars more, I
He
guess.
was like, "Boy, put my shit back."
What did people
Why
have?
did you even have these?
What did we have those binoculars
I'm
for?
gonna have to ask my mom. Why did he even have those?
People just like to be looking at shit. I guess, man.
Nosy motherfucker.
Well, now we have. I guess before cell phones and shit.
I guess that was the entertainment.
I mean, I remember. Yeah.
Okay.
You just sat there like with. No, I do remember sitting there looking at shit.
Yeah.
I guess that's
out
just
my window.
I guess that's just what I was doing.
I guess that was entertainment.
Yeah, it was just
In
like
the car though.
yeah, I'm just maybe the glove box. I don't know.
Oh, okay, all right.
But
We in New Hampshire.
Anyway.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah. So there's a strange craft flying around, which I mean, in the '60s, like anything flying around is kind of
It's
weird.
strange,
There's
right,
there's
right.
commercial planes and stuff, but it's kind of weird. Especially something that's like blinking and flashing, and
not
doing
moving
bunch of
like a
crazy-
plane.
doing a bunch of crazy shit. Like yeah, now they have drones that can move like that, but in the '60s, not so much. For you youngins listening, drones weren't always a thing. Yeah, so through binoculars, Barney observed what he reasoned was a commercial airliner traveling toward Vermont on its way to Montreal. So he's like, lady, calm down.
Plane,
It's
girl.
It's a plane. It's a plane. Relax. Yeah, he probably sounded more like that.
Yeah.
He soon changed his mind because without looking as if it had turned, the craft rapidly descended. Oh, in his direction. Like it's coming straight for us type shit. And then he said, "This is not a plane. This is not a plane." That's a quote.
I'm assuming there's no light pollution either. We're in the
I mean,
60s
probably
in
not.
New
It's the
Hampshire,
'60s, and they're in the middle of nowhere.
okay.
They're at a scenic like picnic area, like park.
It's only giving
thing.
them more validity.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they got back in their car, and they were just like, "Let's just keep driving." And
it's
they're
a brother, man. It's a brother.
yeah, for real.
Yeah,
I'm
let's
surprised.
go.
I'm surprised he
Shit.
stopped.
Fuck up out of here.
Now I'm really surprised he stopped.
Okay.
I'm surprised he wasn't like, "We're not stopping."
Yeah.
So they continue driving. They're the only people on the road. They're driving kind of slowly, and they're still looking at the thing. The thing's like with them, and they're looking out their window like, I don't know what the fuck that is. At one point, the object passed above a restaurant and signal tower and came near the Old Man of the Mountain. I don't know what that is, but it has its own Wikipedia page. Oh, it's like it's a big pile of rocks on the side of a mountain that look kind of like a face.
Okay.
So they said that they were seeing it like flying around that thing. The couple watched as the silent. Oh, it was silent too. They're not hearing.
Well, it
anything.
doesn't look like anything human.
Right.
Right.
It's silent. It doesn't look like anything human. It's lighting up, and it's weird for it to be quiet because like you can hear
No propulsion.
You can hear a
no-
helicopter. From,
Right.
like way up in there. You can hear it when a jet flies over. You can hear it. So they're just talking about it bouncing erratically and moving around in the night sky a lot. And they're just keep driving. They're just like, we're just going. Later on down the road, the object rapidly descended towards their vehicle, causing Barney to stop in the middle of the highway. He just slams the brakes in the middle of the highway because the thing
heard this one.
is coming right at him. The huge silent craft hovered about 80 to 100 feet above their car, which was a 1957 Chevy Bel Air, if you want to know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Classic.
So, Barney probably looked pretty cool driving that car. Anyway.
Pretty sporty.
Yeah, that's a good car, Barney. It filled the entire field of view in the windshield, he said. So looking out the windshield, he couldn't see shit except the big spaceship. That's how big it was. And then he pulled out his binoculars, man. He got out of the car, though. So this thing's like pretty low, and it's taking up their whole windshield or whatever. He gets out of the car, and then he pulls out his binoculars again, and he says that he observed 7 to 8 to 11 humanoid figures who were peering out the craft's windows and looking back at him. He says, "Can you imagine that?" He just pulled out binoculars, and they're all looking at him. He says. In unison, all but one figure moved to what appeared to be a panel on the rear wall, so they're all in sync on some hive mind type shit.
Okay.
The one remaining figure continued to look at Barney and communicated a message telling him to stay where you are and keep looking.
Verbally?
No,
Is it saying verbally?
The Greys can like they can like telepathically
Okay, that
like insert messages into your mind.
I can't remember what actual interview it was of Dr. Stephen Greer, but that is what he said. He
said they
said
can do
they
that
have
shit.
no ears or mouth. They're not
Yeah.
going to come to you and speak English. They can speak to you. They can control your mind. They can get into your head and speak to you. So
crazy.
continue on, my brother.
Whew, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't like this conversation.
I've been waiting for you to say something like that.
Okay. So it said, stay where you are and keep looking with its mind. Because it's still up in the air. It's still inside the spaceship, and it's just looking at him. So it can do it, like, from downtown. It can get you. Maybe it's like an eye contact thing. I don't know. Because it's telling him to keep looking, too. And at that point, it's like, I'm not looking anymore, probably. I'm going to try not to. If I'm in control of my body. If you want me to keep looking at you, I'm not going to do it. Especially now. Anyway. Barney had a recollection of observing the humanoid forms wearing glossy black uniforms and black caps. That's where I'm kind of like,
why would they be wearing?
Why do they have clothes on?
Why
do they have hats?
Are they Levi's? What they
and
wearing?
then it's kind of like, are they dressed kind of like Nazis or something? Like they got black uniforms and black caps on? Like I don't know. Like it's making me picture these little. I don't know why, but it's making me picture these little like
What is it,
SS aliens.
Makes me think of what is it? Superman 2, Superman 3.
Yeah.
What were they?
I don't know if it's 2 or 3, but
them fucking people.
I know what you're talking
The
about.
black suits on.
Mhm.
Man, I thought she was so sexy, man.
Red lights on what appeared to be bat wing fins began to telescope out the sides of the craft. So now there's these big wings coming out the side, and they got big red lights on them. A long structure descended from the bottom of the craft. The silent craft approached to what Barney estimated was within 50 to 80 feet overhead and 300 feet away. And he said the beings were somehow not human.
Okay, how much of this story has been redacted and filled in?
I'm not sure. So that's all they remember, right? And then
Okay.
they're like, and then they just get back in their car and go home. They think, at the time. So they got home at about dawn. They stated that they had some odd sensations and impulses they could not explain. Betty insisted that their luggage be kept near the back door than in the main part of the house. The watches that they were wearing stopped working and never worked again. The leather strap from the binocular, I guess he had him like around his neck.
Right.
The leather strap was torn, and he didn't remember why.
Yeah, you're not gonna just rip a leather.
He was wearing, he was out. Knowing what we know about Barney. He was out in his best shoes, and his shoes were all scratched up. And he did not scratch, like, they were his most expensive favorite pair, and he did not scratch them.
Yeah, I ain't fucking.
And this is the 60s. Like, he was dapper. You saw the picture. He's
real
a dapper dude.
Yeah, very dapper. Had his conch on.
So he ain't going to be walking around with scuffed shoes. You know he's not. No, he's not. And then for some reason, Barney says that he just had this feeling that he needed to examine his genitals. But he didn't find anything unusual. I don't know why that's part of the... He just felt like he had to check it out, but everything was fine. They both took long showers and drew a picture of what they had observed. Okay, so they sat down and they were like, let's try to figure out exactly what happened. They tried to put together a timeline of what happened between when they witnessed the UFO and when they drove home. And apparently the UFO started making some buzzing noise, and so the last thing they remember is this buzzing noise, and then they don't remember anything. Their memories are, it says, incomplete and fragmented. So they were like, we're gonna take a nap. They went to sleep for a few hours. Understandable. Betty woke up and she took the clothes that she was wearing and the shoes that she was wearing when they saw the UFO, and she put them in her closet, and noticed that her dress was torn a bunch. And she was like, I didn't do that. Apparently they were on some kind of date or something. So they were both dressed up real nice in their nice clothes, and they like, all as far as they know, all they did was sit in their car and drive home. So now they just feel weird, and their clothes are all fucked up, and Barney's shoes are all scuffed up, and they have no idea what happened. The leather strap for the binoculars is torn off his neck. They don't know why, which is probably pretty scary. So we're going to take a nap.
Black people, man.
Um,
That's what we do when shit's fucked up, man. Fuck all this shit. I'm about to take a nap.
Take a nap. Uh, and then she went back to get the items from her closet, the clothes and the shoes, and there was a pink powder on the dress. She hung the dress on the clothesline, and the pink powder blew away. But the dress was damaged. She threw it away, changed her mind, retrieved the dress, and put it back in her closet. Over the years, 5 laboratories have conducted chemical forensic analyses on the tests on the dress.
What they come up with?
I don't know. It doesn't say.
Doesn't say.
Okay.
Redaction.
I can look at the studies, but I don't want to do that right now because I gotta finish this story.
Okay, I got several questions.
Sure.
One, how was their life? How was their life after that? Did it get better? Did it get worse? Did it
I don't know. I think we're gonna get into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
did anybody get sick?
So at this point, they haven't even really realized what happened or whatever. So there were shiny concentric circles on their car's trunk that weren't there the previous day. So there was like these weird circles on the trunk of the car. Betty and Barney experimented with a compass, noting that when they moved it close to the spots on the car, the needle would start to spin rapidly. Weird. Barney, so they did a 6-hour interview with an astronomer, and Barney said that he developed a mental block, and he suspected there were some portions of the event that he didn't want to remember.
An astronomer. Why an astronomer?
Because he is part of the NICAP. I don't know what that is, though. National something for aerial phenomenon. I bet he's like a UFO researcher.
Okay. Probably back then, yeah.
So Barney said he thinks he has a mental block because he doesn't want to remember stuff because he doesn't want to get traumatized about it, you know. The astronomer guy stated that he thinks they're telling the truth and the incident probably occurred exactly as reported. Well, of course he did because he's a UFO researcher. That seems like a little confirmation bias to me. However, 10 days after the alleged UFO encounter, Betty started having weird dreams about weird shit for 5 nights in a row. And the intensity and detail of these dreams was something that she had never experienced before in her life.
Mm-hmm.
After the 5th night, they stopped and never recurred, but she thought about them a lot because they were pretty weird. When they mentioned them to Barney, he was sympathetic but not too concerned.
Call those lucid dreams.
And the matter was dropped. Betty did not mention the dreams to Barney again, but she did write down the details of her dreams. So in one dream, she and Barney are driving and they encounter a roadblock, and men surround their car. Then she loses consciousness, and then she realized that she was being forced by 2 small men to walk in a forest at night. And she sees Barney behind her, but when she called to him, he was in a trance and sleepwalking. This is her dream still. The men stood about 5 feet to 5 feet 4 inches tall and wore matching blue uniforms with caps similar to those worn by military cadets. So her dreams are lining up with what Barney said he saw.
Right.
A little bit. They appeared nearly human with black hair, dark eyes, prominent noses, and blush lips. Their skin was a grayish color. So this is the dream. So in her dream, it would seem like her brain is making them more like human-like.
Yeah, because your brain.
Because it's like trying to comprehend that shit.
Or you have those dreams where people say like they see faces but they're blurred out.
Yeah, shit like that. Because she already doesn't know what's happening, so her brain like doesn't want to make it weirder.
Correcting it for her.
Yeah, brain's trying to make sense of it. And then at the end of the dream, she and Barney are taken back to their car, and then the leader of the little men suggests that they watch the craft leave, which is kind of baller, you know, like check this shit out. You're gonna want to see this.
Watch what we do.
Like how often can you leave and be like, you're gonna want to watch
Check
this?
this shit out.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then they did, and then they went home, and that's the end of her dream. And she had that dream for 5 nights in a row, and it was super vivid. And then she never had it again after that, but she thought about it all the time. This is when they start getting like medical help and stuff. So now we're getting into their life after and all that
Okay.
shit. So this is some other people wanted to interview them. Their main question was about the length of their trip. So the Hills noted that they arrived home later than they anticipated. Their drive should have taken about 4 hours, but they didn't arrive home until 7 hours after they left.
Right.
Uh, the couple had no explanation for that. They didn't even realize it. They were just like, "Oh,
Time doesn't matter to them.
weird."
Time's man-made.
Yeah. They claim to recall almost nothing of the 35 miles of U.S. Route 3 between Lincoln, Indian Head, and Ashland. Those are all places in Nebraska. No?
Right. Damn. Fucking with me.
Weird. Both recalled an image of a fiery orb sitting on the ground. Betty and Barney reasoned that it must have been the moon, but the interviewers informed them that the moon had set earlier in the evening. So they thought the moon was setting. They said setting on the ground, but I think they mean the moon was setting. But they were like, the moon was already set at that point, dude. The moon wasn't even out. So now they're like, well, then what was the big light, you know? Because they're like, the Hills, I think, are in like a little. I'm speculating now. The Hills, I think, are in a little bit of denial here because they don't know what they saw. They're not.
That could be part of the traumatization.
Yeah, like they don't know what they saw. They don't know what happened.
No way that fucking happened.
And they're like in denial about it right now, I think. So they're like, "Oh, we just remember this light." And yeah. And this is so the thing at the beginning was like the kind of like the whole story, and I think at this point they haven't really remembered a whole lot of it yet, too. So I think so they're like, "Oh, it's probably the moon," but we don't think it was. Whoa. Okay. Something about a United States Air Force.
And I guess my second question is, why were they returned?
I don't know. This is November of 1962, so this is like a year later.
It's because they were an interracial couple.
They were at a meeting. Oh, maybe, I don't know.
We're talking the 60s now.
They were at a meeting at their church where Captain Ben Sweat of the United States Air Force was a guest speaker. And then, so after this guy was done speaking, the Hills went up to him and like privately disclosed their shit. And this Air Force guy was pretty interested because of the missing time thing. He was like, "Well, that's pretty weird." And I guess he was also a hypnotist. And they were like, "Well, can you hypnotize us to try to like unlock these memories, you know?" And he was like, "No, I don't want to do that, and I don't want you to even try to go do that. Seems dangerous to me." He's like, "Maybe you just shouldn't remember." But they didn't care. They went and got hypnotized anyways. So they found a guy that would hypnotize them. So under hypnosis, Barney reported that the binocular strap had broken when he ran from the UFO back to his car. So he didn't. The thing was like, "Stay there and keep looking at me." And he was like, "Nope." And he turned around and ran back to his car.
He did run.
Yeah. And then that's when the
shoes got scratched up.
That's probably when the shoes got scratched up. That's when the strap broke. He recalled driving the car away from the UFO, but afterwards he felt irresistibly so they can mind control you, dude. He felt irresistibly compelled to pull the car off the road and drive into the woods. Eventually, he sighted 6 men standing on the dirt road. The car stalled, and 3 of the men approached the car. This is a lot like Betty's dream now.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to the pink powder now. Okay.
Barney described the beings as generally similar to Betty's hypnotic recollection, so they both got hypnotized. The being stared into his eyes with a terrifying, mesmerizing effect, is what he said. Under hypnosis, Barney said things like, "Their eyes, they're in my brain." He said, "I was told to close my eyes because I saw 2 eyes coming close to mine, and I felt like the eyes had pushed into my eyes."
What do they say? Your eyes are the windows to the soul.
Yeah. And then from his second session, he's just saying, "All I see are these eyes. I'm not even afraid that they're not connected to a body. They're just there. They're just up close to me, pressing against my eyes."
Is that what they can do?
I don't know. Betty reported a conversation with the leader in English, like out loud, I guess. Barney said that he heard them speaking in a mumbling language he did not understand. So Betty thought it was in English, but Barney heard them talking, and Betty was speaking a language that he had never heard before. Weird. Weird if true.
But I guess if they're in your brain, they can make you.
Yeah. The few times that they communicated with him, Barney said it was mentally. It was telepathy. But he didn't know that word yet. So he wasn't sitting there saying it was telepathy. He was like describing it, and someone else was like, "Oh, that's telepathy."
Mental telepathy.
So when they talked to Betty, I guess they talked out loud for some reason. And when they talked to Barney, it was in his brain.
That's weird.
This is Betty's sessions now. So Betty's account was pretty similar to her dreams, with a few notable differences. Mainly their capture and release. Also, the technology was different. The short men differed in appearance. Was a dream, so whatever.
Well, yeah, I noticed that. That's what I was saying. Are we talking about two different groups? Was there a group in the woods and the group on the road?
I think it's the same.
Okay.
It's the same. After they were done, the hypnotist wrote an article and
outed them.
he said the case was a singular psychological aberration. I don't know what that means.
Okay, so
Single.
y'all crazy.
Yeah, I think that's what it means.
Y'all crazy.
Psychological aberration. Let's see
Yeah, what the fuck does that mean?
When you Google this, all that comes up is
You crazy.
no shit about this.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
The singular physiological.
Did they create a
psychological
fucking
aberration.
term for them?
Well, it's just because I think it's like a famous thing because this is what that guy said.
Huh.
It was, so I think that's just attached.
First
to
time ever used, and
So, yeah, I
hasn't
think
been
it-
used since.
I think it just means they're crazy.
Yeah, y'all crazy. Damn.
And that's pretty much it. There was a lot of publicity. The Hills went back to their regular lives. They were willing to discuss their encounter with their friends, family, and researchers, but they weren't they never tried to get rich off of it. They never wrote a book. They didn't try to sell it.
So
A TV show.
lived pretty
They just lived normal
humble
after that.
lives.
Yeah.
After that, no bad health, no hair falling out, teeth growing too long, nothing. Huh?
Yeah, their story got international attention in the papers and stuff, but they didn't really they didn't care.
Just brushed it under the rug.
They never they weren't on the news about it.
So I guess we'll never know why they were returned because, I know,
Oh, man.
a lot of people go missing, and most of the time, if it's something malicious, they end up, finding that out eventually.
Sure. Yeah.
Whether it be a month, a year, 10 years down the line with DNA and science and all that. But the people that just vanish out of thin air and you never see
There's a lot
or
of
hear from them again.
there's a lot of weird.
Where are they?
Yeah, there's a lot of weird stories like that. So this is sad now. Barney died of a cerebral hemorrhage in 1969 at the age of 46.
So that could have been.
And Betty died of cancer in 2004 at the age of 85, and she never married anybody else.
Wow. So they live pretty, other than, getting sick, they live pretty long lives. Huh.
They both got sick, but it was, different sicknesses. There's a lot of people that think they're lying, obviously. There's a lot of people that think everybody's lying. But who knows, man?
I think we've all seen something.
I think it's interesting that they never said, I think it was aliens, or I think it was a spaceship, or anything like that.
What was that,
They just, described what it was, but did they do that on purpose?
I think it was just UFO. The term just UFO. I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure people were saying
they
the
were.
word alien.
People knew about aliens by
but
then.
I
I
don't
think
they were
Roswell
like, Yo,
had
that's
happened.
an alien.
Yeah.
Were they doing that in the 60s?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think
so.
they would have been.
I don't know. But they had binoculars.
They had binoculars
I
on the
guess.
road in New Hampshire, looking at the foliage.
Anyway, so that was Grays.
The Greys.
That's what Grays
the
do.
most common.
Yeah, they're the most common one. We got off on a way. Then the next one's called Hopkinsville Goblin.
Whoa.
It's a small greenish silver humanoid.
Say that again.
Hopkinsville Goblin. Oh,
Never heard of that one.
Yeah, it looks like this.
Whoa.
This thing
Yeah, I
right
ain't never
here.
seen that one.
Looks like a little robot. This might have to be a two-parter because
I'm gonna have to chase him down.
there's some.
Holla at him.
This might be a two-part episode, man. Because we're almost out of time. But each one of these has this is pretty interesting.
Like I said, y'all go get hip to Dr. Stephen Greer. You watch Dr. Stephen Greer,
Yeah.
and
We're gonna do this Hopkinsville
And
Goblin
we'll
one.
come back next show, and we're gonna have to do a part 2 to this.
No, we're gonna do this Hopkinsville Goblin one right now. I'm just saying. After this
Like,
one,
that's
we probably got to be done. But
Like I said,
I want to read more about this stuff. It's
my
pretty good.
niece, my 7-year-old niece, we're going to school,
Yeah.
and I'm like, what you studying? What you doing? You know, she had a science project. They're talking about the moon and the planets and all of that. And I asked her what she thought about the moon, and she's like, nah. So we get to aliens, and she's 7, just turned 7.
And she's like on board.
Yeah, she's on board with this alien shit, bro.
Mm.
I want to meet one. So I'm like, what do you think they look like?
And you freak her out. You're like, maybe you already did.
Hey,
Maybe
man.
you already did.
Hey,
meet
we
one.
got deep. She wanted to get deep. So if you want to get deep, we gonna get deep, niece. And we did, and it was a great conversation. So she described to me what she thought they looked like, and I'm like, damn, that's pretty goddamn close. You didn't see one? She pretty much described the gray, and the thing that really caught my eye or my ear was the skin, how she thought the skin looked. I'm like, damn, you breaking it down. Not only that they're gray, but no hair, and they're wrinkled. I'm like, god damn. I ain't never heard that.
I haven't heard that either.
This is a 7-year-old little girl. So I'm like, what the
Weird.
fuck? So we had so yeah, I'm on board with that. I love that she's 7 and she's into that.
Yeah, for real.
So yeah, we don't have to back this up again.
For real. Yeah. So the Kelly Hopkinsville encounter, also known as the Hopkinsville Goblin case or the Kelly Green Men case, is a claimed close encounter with extraterrestrial beings. This one's in beings, not buildings. Sorry, extraterrestrial beings in 1955. So this one's earlier.
Okay, that illustration looks 50-ish.
Yeah.
50-ish.
Yeah. This is in the communities of Kelly, Kentucky, and Hopkinsville, Kentucky.
Okay, I was gonna say where that Hopkinsville come
This
from.
is one of the most significant and well-documented cases in history of UFO incidents.
Okay.
I've never heard of it.
No.
While skeptics say that the reports were due to excitement, like people were just like riling each other up, and they think they were like, no, you saw an owl, dog. That's why this picture's next to an owl. They're like, no, that's an owl. So they were like, you just got excited. It was an owl.
You crazy.
The lights, the lights in the sky, those are meteors, whatever. The United States Air Force officially classified the incident as a hoax, which I don't trust you. Psychologists have used the incident as an example of pseudoscience to help students distinguish truth from fiction. So universities use this as an example of when people believe shit that's not true. So, okay, this is interesting.
So Hopkinsville. This was a people or a person?
Hopkinsville. That's a town.
Okay. Hopkinsville.
Hopkins. Yeah,
Hopkins.
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 Hopkinsville.
Kentucky.
Yeah, Hopkinsville, Kentucky. So on the evening of August 21st, 1955, 5 adults and 7 children arrived at the Hopkinsville police station.
Okay, so more than one person.
Yep. This is a total of, 12 people, if you count the kids. So they ran to the police station talking about small alien creatures from a spaceship were attacking their farmhouse. And that they've been holding them off with gunfire for nearly 4 hours, they said. We've been out here for 4 hours.
That's a lot of ammo, bro.
That is a lot of fucking ammo.
God damn.
Maybe
It's Kentucky, though. It's Kentucky.
It's
in the
it's
50s.
Kentucky.
Okay.
Kentucky in the 50s.
Okay.
They're good.
That's all they got is
It
ammo.
checks out.
All right.
So they'd been shooting at short, dark figures who repeatedly popped up at the doorway or peered into the window. So just they were just sitting there like terrified, and every once in a while one would pop up. Like,
Gaia!
Blam! There's some good shots, man.
Shit.
And the cops obviously were like, okay, so there's a gun battle going on between citizens. Like these are all people shooting guns at each other. There's
Hatfields
no
and McCoys.
Yeah, like there's no aliens. Like the police are like, okay, so there's people out here shooting at each other, so we better go check it out. So 4 city police officers, 5 state troopers, 3 deputy sheriffs, and 4 military police officers from the nearby United States
motherfucking
Army
fuzz,
Fort
baby.
Campbell drove to the sun. Why would all those people?
The fuzz.
Why would the United States Army go to anything that the police got called on like that?
Is there any bases in Kentucky?
That's so weird. Well, yeah, there's a nearby Fort Campbell, but it's like why would the army come? That just seems weird to me. And it feels like
Even for the 50s.
it
in
feels like
Kentucky,
aliens
that's a
being
lot.
it feels like aliens being involved is like.
Yeah, bring all the guns.
Well, I mean, in the 50s, like the sheriff's probably like, hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he's like, they're not calling the army.
Bring all the guns.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
why would the army?
It's weird.
Damn.
That's weird to me.
Huh.
So they drove out to the farmhouse and they searched the place. They found nothing except for gunshot holes in their windows and stuff. That's it. So as far as they know, they're just shooting at nothing. Residents of the farmhouse were Glennie Langford, her children, two of her sons from her previous marriage, their wives, Alina's brother. This is confusing.
So these kids we're talking about, they grown.
Yeah.
Old enough to hold a rifle.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so yeah, they were got to be bond. It ain't like we talking about 6 and 7 year olds.
And then the next day, everybody was gone.
The family,
Yeah.
they got Men in Black, bro.
Yeah, the ones that were visiting. Well, the people that lived there were still there, and then everybody else was gone, and they were like the police came back the next day to try to figure out what happened, you know? And they were like, where is everybody? And they said, well, the creatures came back, so they all left.
They got Men in Black.
Yeah. That's it, I guess. That's the whole thing. That's like the whole story. And then obviously everyone's like, we don't fucking believe you. But, you know.
Like I said, man, and when it's more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 people,
Yeah.
like 12
I don't
fucking
know,
people.
but they're all family.
Yeah.
So if these people were looking for attention, they all wanted it, you know? Like they all worked together to get it.
I guess so. I guess
You
it
know.
was an organized.
Shit, I don't know. We'll do one more. That one was
Yeah, that one was kind of.
Little Green Men. We'll do Little Green Men real quick. You know Little Green Men. I don't think there's any. I think Little Green Men are kind of.
Yeah.
These are the.
I believe, bro. I think they're like we're talking aliens, man.
Yeah.
Like there's so many fucking
Yeah.
billions of fucking light years ahead of us. They're shapeshifters.
Yeah. These.
Why would they get here and want to look like that instead
of?
of not shapeshifting into one of us?
Yeah. This is. Nobody thinks this is a real kind of alien. This is just like in media, like in comic books and
Star
TV
Trek
shows.
shit,
Yeah, like
you know
this is
what I'm saying?
what
Captain
this
Kirk
is,
fucking
this is what
the green
aliens
bitch
look
with
like.
3
So,
titties and shit.
yeah, the Little Green Man doesn't even count as a real one.
Yeah, the little green, but yeah, and you know, like I said,
Ooh, this is a good one. Nordic aliens,
what's he look
sometimes called Space Brothers.
like? The more human looking one.
Yeah, they look exactly
There you
like
go.
humans.
Why would they come? They know we're stupid. They know we're idiots. They know we carry guns and weapons. We'd try fucking blow his head off if we saw him walking down the street. Another thing Dr. Stephen Greer said is they're not violent. They don't like war. And you know, and they know what we gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
We gonna go out in the backyard and take them pot shots at
Well, that's what happened in Hopkinsville.
you know, because he said if
Hopkinsville, I did it.
if he thought they were we'd be a floating piece of charcoal.
Yeah.
Probably hundreds of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like wars. They don't like violence. They don't want us fighting each other.
Yeah,
Because they definitely, I'm sure, have the power and the technology
I'm sure they could.
you know, to end
yeah.
everything.
Yeah, for sure. These were George Adamski is the first one credited with claiming to contact these, and that was in the mid 1950s.
50s, really?
Yeah, well, and it's interesting too.
Well,
because
there's some documented UFO, like even in the 40s.
they make a good point here too about these human looking ones, because like Zeus, Hercules, like shit, like they look like people, but they could do shit that people couldn't do. You know,
I mean,
like if aliens were real, maybe that.
okay, there we go.
But who knows? I mean, as far as I know, Hercules was real too. So
I mean, the stories. I mean,
You know.
let's see. Just not to even sidetrack or get off point. Like we talked about in the shop, it's a barber shop, and
Yeah,
so we talk
yeah.
about everything, like
Sure.
fucking mermaids and unicorns and shit. Like
I want to do that
Bigfoot.
too.
You know what I mean? I'm not like yay, but I'm not nay either.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how long ago, but somebody saw a fucking mermaid, bro. That thing was on Earth
Mhm.
sometime in Earth's history. Somebody saw it. Was it a mermaid back then? No, it was probably called something else. And it was probably something you probably didn't want to fucking see because it would probably rip you to fucking shreds.
Yeah,
A
probably.
unicorn. When that thing it probably didn't have the nice fluffy looking. It was
Probably.
probably something you didn't want to fucking see.
Probably. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that horn, you was probably gonna end up on it.
Yeah, I want to do that too. When I was thinking about aliens, I was like, oh, we should do like Bigfoot and the Loch Ness monster. The Loch Ness monster is like verified fake though. We'll skip the Loch Ness.
Yeah, I think that.
Just
I
an
think
example. But like shapeshifters, like skinwalkers, that kind of shit. I want to. I want to read
Yeah,
about that with
yeah.
you too. So the next few episodes, I think we're gonna do stuff like that. I think that'll be kind of
shapeshifters.
like we'll talk about like people disappearing, shit like that. I don't want to turn into like a mystery podcast or whatever. But
no,
I
not at all.
I think it'd be fun to do for a couple episodes.
But there are a lot of people like just vanished into thin air,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to talk about shit like that for at least just a few episodes, man. We'll finish this alien thing. We'll do the cryptids thing with unicorns and mermaids and fucking
There's even hieroglyphics, that's
Shit
been
like that.
there
yeah.
thousands of years that have
Mhm.
these non-human looking beings.
Mhm.
I mean, that's got to be some proof.
I don't know. It's like, did people have just that good of imaginations, or not?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I
don't
think
know.
there was something.
They probably had binoculars though.
I think there was something.
Probably had binoculars.
And humans just throughout time and history, we developed weaponry and
sure.
bad mentalities and
Yeah.
fucked up dictative ways that, our way of living has been tainted over thousands and millions of years. And they're like, yo, we got to stay away from these motherfuckers.
Yeah. Well, we
They
got,
shooting at us and shit.
got too smart, man.
Nah.
People aren't supposed to be. You were supposed to be just running around naked in the woods.
Real, you know what I'm saying?
Like
With a leaf over your nuts or
like
something.
putting sticks into holes and eating bugs off of them, shit like that. Like we were never supposed to figure all
We
this
wasn't
shit
supposed to figure out none of this. And then okay,
How does
let's
this even
segue
work? How
into
can you even hear me
technology.
right now?
Technology.
Yeah, well,
Like-
that's another show. That's another show.
That is another show.
That's a
Let
whole-
me hold it. Yeah, I'm gonna
That's a
write that one
whole-
down.
that's a whole
Because
other
where did
show,
we get
man.
our
It's already been an
technology
hour.
from?
I don't know. Well, that's what
Humans, we some bad motherfuckers. Don't get
you
me
could
wrong.
like. You could make me immortal and then put me on like a brand new planet. I would never figure out any of this.
No.
I wouldn't even figure out how to make that cabinet,
Where did we?
let alone cell phones and
Did we
transistors.
pay for our
and-
technology in people
I don't know.
to aliens?
I don't know.
He said he felt like he needed to check his genitals. Is that what they're doing? Studying our reproductive organs?
But why though? Why would they even care? You know?
For all we know, maybe whatever galaxy or planet, millennial, wherever they're at, maybe they are their planet's dying. Maybe they're in dire need. Maybe their population, you know what I mean? We don't know. It could be anything. And they want to know how we're able to maybe reproduce so fast.
Could be lots of things.
And
Anyway, think about that all week.
think about that.
All week, think about that. And again, if you have like a UFO thing, drop in the comments, dude, for real.
Send a video.
Instagram to it. If you got a video, yeah, we would love to see that. If you feel like you've been abducted, talk
Holler
about it.
Holler at us.
Holler, dude.
Like I said,
Holler.
Got a hot mic for you.
Yeah. If you like, even like you've seen ghosts or something. If you've seen something weird, I want to know about it. And then if you comment it, we can read it on the show and stuff too. That'd be pretty fun.
If you got somebody that was with you that's seen it, bring them too.
Yeah. Have them comment as well, corroborating your story.
We
You don't got to come on the show. You can just tell us what
just
happened, and
corroborate the story.
we'll just read what
Just
happened. But
corroborate the story.
I want to know, dude. Send us emails, comment it, DM it to us on Instagram or Threads or whatever. We want to know. It'll be like maybe like 2 people will say something to that, but we get like 2 comments a video. But make the 2 comments about something weird that happened to you. Anyway, thanks for listening. Check us out on Instagram, Threads, all that. Like I said, videos are on YouTube and Spotify. Audio is pretty much everywhere else. Like us, comment, subscribe. Like I said, review us, follow us, whatever you do on the app that you listen or watch us on. Yeah, have a good week. I hope you guys don't see any aliens, but if you do, tell me about it.
Holler at us.
Bye.